Hi. Ooh, fuck off, chat. Right, hello. Yes, I'm recording this after the fact. Here's a plaster. Oh shit, there's a bit of blood coming through. This will make sense if you watch the video. There you go, there's your hook. That'll make the reader read on. I stole that from my friend. Basically, I made this, but you're not allowed to see it unless you watch the video. I did make this though. This is nice. Cute. I was about to toss this in the air then, put that out. Thank you for focusing on me. Anyway, whittling video, not the usual kind of thing, but I'm getting into new hobbies recently. I've been getting into new hobbies, and I would like... Thunderstroke. I'm getting into new hobbies, and I thought I'd share it with you. I also just wanted something to do, because I felt kind of like, if I was just going to game or something, I'd be wasting my time. But it's okay. I decided to make something, and you get to see that. Here is me making it. You won't be seeing my face, it's just, well, a slightly different version of this angle. Make sure to blur what you just showed, Toby, because you just showed off the pieces. You silly fucking bitch. This is going to be a cat. You can already can't see the shape it's taken. I've got little things there. I accidentally got the dimensions wrong of the cat, so I had to move the head down a bit, which means that I've got to whittle all of this off. And as you can see, I'm only able to do it little by little, which is not amazing, even with this knife. This one already is a bit, you can kind of see, this one just isn't very sharp, and this is only going to maintain its sharpness, not actually sharpen it. This is sharper, but not quite as sharp as one would need to, you know, actually do some proper work. But yeah, I thought I'd might as well record this since I am doing a bit of whittling. Here you go, I'll show you my this is my other little whittle. It's a little fox kind of thing, although from here it looks like a pig. The body looks kind of ferrety but without a long neck. And then of course it's got a big bushy tail, so it can't really be any of those things, but it's supposed to be a fox. I've only just started using this knife, so I could probably make better cuts with this knife on these parts, because I did all of this with this knife. But you can kind of see all of those bits. They're a lot different to these, and I've refined it a little bit, but you get little bits here and there. There's a bum hole right there. I did give him eyes as well, but then I took them off. Oh no, you can ever so slightly see where the eyes were, but no, like around the neck and whatnot, you can definitely, yeah, around this part especially. That's not great. Actually, you know what? Maybe I can clean it up a little bit with this knife now. Actually, yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah. It doesn't matter too much, you know, since it's just a little piece that's just going to sit on my shelves. But you know, I don't know. It's nice to make things, or to sort of refine things. This is a cut-proof glove, by the way. It's not stab-proof though. That would be I've already accidentally shanked myself a few times, but you know, I'm always careful. So, Fox's nose, I think, turns up a little bit at the end, so I probably want to just take as much from the bottom rather than any on the top. Does that look better? This one does have very puffy. Actually, yeah, foxes. Maybe that's part of why it didn't look quite right. Foxes have. The foxes have narrower cheeks. Would I need to get rid of some of this part, these bits? Let me look at a picture of a fox. Yeah, there you are. See, foxes do have a much narrower snout. They do have very big ears as well. So I could probably do with carving the ears a bit more. I've just got to slim the face a bit. It's getting slightly awkward to hold now, so yeah, you can see all of these rough cuts I've been making at the top. Not going too well. Right, that's why. Yeah, see, I'm just making more of them now. You know what? I'm just going to leave this guy as he is. I think that's okay. Once I've figured out how to actually more smoothly refine pieces like this, then maybe I'll do some refining. If not, then I'll just make a new one. Yeah. But for now, it's my first Whittle. Time to take a bit of fun. I've just got to take this big lump off of his fucking head. Give him some toes. Give him a tail. Do that. There you are. See, now you know his ears are there. Which means I don't have to get rid of the top. You know what, actually? I'm gonna start a new one. Because I'm getting a bit bored of this one and it's taking its time. So once I got a proper knife sharpener, I'll continue taking this thing off. But at the minute, it's just fucking thousands and thousands of tiny cuts just to get this fucking thing off. So I'll just leave him. I'll leave him there for now. I blistered my thumb whittling all night, so I've put a. I got this from my hand injury there, like silicone gel thing, just to double on there. But also has been good for my thumb. So you know, shout out to Seeker Care. Yeah. Let's figure out something that we actually want to make. I'm thinking maybe a penguin, but penguin's quite fat and these are quite small. But I don't want to work with the big cubes yet, which I've got one on there, these big cubes here. So head, I'll have a beak. It's going to have to be a slim penguin because they got fat old arms. Unless I wrap the arms around the front, I could try to do that. No, but their arms go slightly back, don't they? So maybe not. Block that off, and then do the toes later. A big old belly, so. See, that's very small though. It's way too small. Is that an okay size for the belly? I can always make it bigger. This is very rough, I know. So I'll do that. That's roughly the size. Oh no, but then I can't. Toes are going to be a bit. And I'll have wings. Probably start that there. Put the right back a bit. Ooh, actually, you know what? This drawing has actually given me an idea. I thought, because I've been very into chess at the minute, I thought I'd make a chessboard at some point. So if I, instead of doing a penguin, do like a pawn. Chessboard, let me look at the pawn. Anyway, right, so a chess pawn. No, too small. Well, actually, how big do I fucking want to make this thing? So I need a chess piece. Probably make two out of this. No, I'll just make a circle there. Okay, the head. We've got a bit that goes around like that. The body's going like that. And we've got these bits. And that's will stick out a little bit. Could do a chest pawn. Yeah, let's do a chest pawn. Right, so I'll do this probably about that height. And then I've just got to make this top bit into a cylinder. And then I'll get to actually properly figuring it out. Okay. Okay, now you see that. Does that look safe to you? Fuck, does one make a nice circle? Basically a square that's just slightly rounder. There you go. It's starting to take shape. You know, there's some pieces that just seem to disappear into the fucking ether. They just go somewhere. Are they in my fucking pockets? Where are they? So yeah, so I mean, as you can see, right here, there's still some pretty rough lines there. So you can see I'm still not very good. Like, I mean, they're all over this one. But I'm still not great at these sort of like crevice parts. That's where they sort of appear most. Keep taking chunks out where I don't need to. I mean, I may well make the head smaller, because a chess piece sort of like it goes out at the bottom, or a pawn. But actually, no, all of them. For now, I'm just trying to get a rough shape, because of course you can always take bits away, but you can never add back on, pretty obviously. But it's easy to forget that sometimes. Oh, that's a big chunk, fucking hell. Man, I wish my small knife just came, I mean my big knife would just come sharper. Slightly fucking rude. Probably about there. No, so that's probably about the bottom. So obviously I'm not going to make a super complicated chess piece. It will just be ring here, slopes down, bottom. There's some pieces that got all sorts of like a million rings down, you know, it's just fucking. Water break. There we are. Now the ring's coming along. There we are. Oh, what are these bits called? Because I assume they're supposed to mimic. What's it called? You know what Shakespeare wore? A little like a white collar sort of thing, or a mane. If you want to make it sound more manly. Although I don't think Shakespeare was too fussed about sounding a bit more manly. But, alright, there we are. Ring 2. Okay. Yeah, so now we just want, so from about there, it's going to come down like so, and then we'll have the base here, because at some point I want to make a full chess set, but of course they'd be smaller pieces than this, so I don't know if I want to go to too much effort to actually refine the look of this by making all the bits the exact right sizes, but I want to know. I mean, the whole point in doing this was just to get a sort of rough understanding of how I'm going to start off. So I don't know, maybe I'll make a video for each piece, or maybe I won't, maybe, I don't know, there'll probably be another woodworking video at some point, or whittling video I should say. But it's a hobby of mine, and so is YouTube, so might as well combine them, you know. Yeah. I'm going to have to like push my belly out all the way to protect, I can't speak, to protect my my belt from getting any wood going on it and then falling down my trousers, because I don't want wood in my trousers. Well, I suppose I already have wood in my trousers, but that's a different kind of wood. itching my back. I'm allowed to itch, aren't I? Whoops. I like to keep a tidy space. Tidy space, tidy space. Does whatever tidy space can swing from a web. No, it can't, 'cause it can't move, but it is a spidey tidy place. Nice one, Toby. Very nice. Ooh, no, I probably shouldn't be making that any smaller without. So we're getting on. Going alright. For my first time, I suppose. Although, I don't know what other people's first times are like when they're whittling. Maybe they do better. But that doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, what matters is that you compare yourself with yourself. Because other people have different skills. For example, my hands are extremely fiddly. I just did a dyslexia video. I mentioned I have dyspraxia, which is hand-eye coordination issues. I've also got tremors, and also my grip hasn't quite been the same in this hand since the injury. But it is healing quite nicely though, so that's a plus. Look at that. It's just weird the time. Actually, you know what? While we're here, I'm just going to massage my finger a bit because it's tightening up a little bit. I don't know how long I'll actually have to be doing this for, massaging it and whatnot, because otherwise it doesn't sort of like straighten out. You see that? It kind of, it doesn't quite. Yeah, like look at so other fingers, they can bend all the way back, whereas that finger can only bend back a little bit. I don't know, it's not the end of the world, but it's just slightly annoying, especially if you like have to put your hand down on something and try and lift up. It's, you know, oh, that feels nice. Oh mate, deep finger tissue. I don't like that sentence for some reason. But no, just because I'm like gripping it quite tightly for so long, it does just tighten the finger up a bit. Don't take your extremities is you don't take anything for granted, basically, is what I'm saying. Don't assume that it won't happen to you, because in the blink of an eye, it can. I will say the fact that this can't cut too much at once is quite a lesson in patience. I know. I mean, generally I'm quite a patient person anyway, especially with people. Technology though, I get frustrated by it really easily. And initially when I was first carving this, I was getting really frustrated at parts when they just didn't seem to be working right. But then I kind of just kept reminding myself, hey, it's my first time, it's not that big a deal, and to just take your time. So, yeah, it's also very therapeutic doing this kind of stuff. Again, just because it is so, I was about to say monotonous, would that technically be the right word? I don't know, since it's just very repetitive, I'll say instead. I think monotonous would mean that it's boring or some kind of negative way. Do you ever get that? There's lots of words that you've sort of heard them used, but you don't technically know what the definition is. You've got for the word context clues that other people have used in sentences and whatnot. So you get the gist of the word, but you might not use it correctly all of the time. Oh. I was just thinking about The Simpsons, because I was singing the Spider Pig song. I'm thinking, alright, actually, is The Simpsons still going? I imagine if it is, it probably slowed down in quality. I vaguely remember hearing that it stopped being made a few years back, but that may well not be true, or I may well have just completely invented that up. Or maybe it is true. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. That's another thing I've learned recently. Is a lot of the time I've fallen into the trap of whenever I get these creative urges, even just urges for knowledge and things like that, to look something up. You're like, oh, I don't know that, and then I just kind of would forget about it and not actually look something up or act on the creative urge, especially when it's late at night. It's like, ooh, I could just make this video, or you know, do something or other. Then you kind of like, oh no, I'm tired, I'll go to bed. And then in the morning, you've slept since then, and you no longer want to do that thing, or you completely forget about it. I've sort of come to realise it's just good. It's like, just go do the thing, right there, right now. Would you rather do the thing, or get some sleep and then not do it at all? You know. That's not to say that you should neglect your sleep. It's to say that you should curate your curiosity. I think would be a good way to put it. And I've sort of been doing that a bit more recently, especially since a hand injury. I was thinking a lot about different things that I could do once I got used to my hand back, and whittling was one of those things that I thought about. And I didn't get into it right away, because like I say, I do tend to put things on the back burner. But then I thought, just recently, maybe a week ago, oh yeah, I'll get into whittling, because I said I would. And I found it to be quite enjoyable, and again therapeutic, so it's very nice. And it's also just like, my life has been very simple, one track, nothing's really going on for quite a while. I kind of think like, if I, you know, actually want interesting things to go on in my life, then you kind of have to create those interesting things. You need to at least create the opportunities for interesting things. So you want to give yourself, you want to build up your life portfolio for yourself. You know, so you can look back on it and be like, oh, I didn't waste my time. And I'm 22 now, and I have just been kind of wasting my time for quite a few years. Since I was 16, 17, I'd say. But you know, I learned lessons, and maybe I wouldn't be in this position of trying to do more if I hadn't have wasted that time. So maybe if I hadn't have wasted that time, I would have spent my time a bit more wisely, but not as wisely as I'm trying to now. So if I hadn't have done that, then maybe I would have fallen into a sort of a discomfort complacency, you might put it. I don't know, does that make sense? I'm actually getting quite happy with this. This is going. When I was initially shaping the head, I was kind of thinking, is this going to work out? Because initially I thought, oh, I'll make it a cylinder, and then I'll work from there. I've not been very good at these planning stages. Like I said with the cat, I miscalculated the dimensions. And that sort of has resulted in me. That sort of resulted in me fucking up a bit more. So just starting it bit by bit, just going here, and going down and going down. That seems to work a bit better than me. The planning, I'm not very good at. So maybe that's an argument that I should do the planning on them more, so that I don't fuck it up as much when I do have to do the planning for if I want to make more complicated pieces. So yeah, this side's not going too well down here. I need to make a bit more space for myself up here before I can do that cut properly, I think. Well, maybe I'm just waffling, you know, because I'm currently a bit of the Dunning-Kruger moment. I'm not quite over Mount Stupid, I imagine. Gone into the Valley of Despair or whatever, where you realise that you don't know anything. We just need to be a bit more gentle. Yeah. Maybe that's it. I do kind of get this thing of not knowing my own strength sometimes, because I don't use it very often. That's another thing I've neglected, is my sort of health and fitness. And there was a sort of moment in my life where I enjoyed running, but then it fucked with my knees too much, so I stopped. And then I tried to get back into running, and I just hated it the second time, trying to get back into it. So I stopped. I don't really know where that shift came from. I was probably in roughly the same shape, similar mentality. Actually, I suppose I was probably in a slightly different mentality, but you wouldn't think that wildly different. No. But you know, things change. Maybe it was just those few days, maybe it was just that week that I hated it for, and that if I started again, then I would enjoy it. It's the old adage, if at first you don't succeed, try again. I think that's probably important to apply. That's another thing I realised recently. Well, I say recently, I realised this a while ago, but I don't know. I rediscovered my knowledge of it recently, I should say. Is that all through our lives we're told all of the right pieces of information, everything we'd ever need to hear, we probably hear as a child, in all the stories we read. And then of course just people telling us life lessons, but you don't listen to those life lessons until either they're applicable to you, or just until somebody tells you them in a way that sort of clicks with you and makes sense. But if you actually broke down a lot of the stories and whatnot, and actually paid more attention to them, you know, or if you were just a bit, because a lot of people learn lessons and they know on paper, they know in theory what these lessons are and how you should live your life, but they don't apply it to their lives. And I'm not saying I'm better than that. I do that plenty. I'm sure there's a lot I'm missing out on, and a lot. Well, there's 100% a lot that I don't know. You know, I think the important thing is that you've got to keep trying. You got to keep learning about yourself and introspecting. And I mean, I guess from an evolutionary point of view, sort of being introspective and learning the lies that you tell yourself isn't very helpful in terms of surviving, because those lies are there for a reason. You evolved to lie to yourself for a reason, because if you are a good person, then you can convince yourself to do bad things just by lying to yourself. But if you know that those are bad things, and you sort of see through the lies, then you're not going to do those bad things that are beneficial for you. You know, I don't know. Well, this is actually getting on alright now, isn't it? Yes, yeah, I'll just have to round the bottom. I don't know if should I do that here, then round down here? Round it down here, then have a little platform. Actually, yeah, I suppose it's not like I'm going to be able to use this wood for anything else at this point, so I might as well just use as much of it as I feel like. I also know that I've not been posting a lot of videos recently. Well, I mean, recently, it depends what you mean by recently, but I've recorded probably, I don't know, at least 4 or 5 videos now. Sort of, it's actually quite funny. It starts off with the frame rate being normal, maybe with a few glitches here and there, and then it slowly devolves into just less and less frames over time until you get to the end of the video, and it's just like 1 frame a minute. You know, so I'm not sure exactly what causes that issue. It could be my settings, although I don't remember changing anything. Although of course settings can get changed when you do updates and whatnot, can't they? So if I wanted to round this side, I would need this side to be smaller than there. But it isn't quite, so I can round down. Okay, so I just need to cut triangles out to start off with. I know I'm having a hard time visualising how I'm supposed to do this. I mean, it's probably very simple, but I am just having a hard time visualising it. I just want to get this relatively even. Yeah. No, I think something like that's okay. Alright. Oh, would you look at that? Give myself my first proper nick. I'll go deal with that. Okay. There we are. See, just a small boy, but that surprisingly bled a lot. I was kind of thinking, because of this injury, because I underestimated this injury, because I initially thought, because it goes from there all the way off, I initially just thought it was like here. I thought that there. As soon as that happened, I overestimated it, and I thought that I took off like that entire fleshy bit there. It just went straight through, but no, just a tiny like poke into there. That's a lesson learned. So I think what I was doing was I was going down like that, then there was some resistance, it came down that way and just poked in like that. So I've got to learn to be more careful doing that. Anyway, this is getting on very well. I'm liking this, so just round off these bits slightly, and then I'll refine these top bits, maybe make the head a bit smaller, and then I think that I'll be done. Actually, I think I actually quite like this, so if I just even all of this out a bit, instead of rounding it down like I initially was, I'll put a picture of I'll be back in a few moments. I'm just going to like find a plaster for that or something. Yeah. So I think what I need to do when doing this, going down like that, is to just keep that as far in to here as possible, so that I've left the least chance to go like that, which I did in the first place. Yeah, alright, coolio. Oh, I hope to be holding you soon. Who knows what happens if I leave my room? I'm scared that you'll know what to do. I want to die before you. Do I want to keep this bit up here, or do I want to round that in? I mean, I suppose I've gotten rid of it there. Maybe I'll just hide it like that. Onto the head. So no head. Break skateboard. Maybe I'll whittle a skateboard. Oh my god. You want me to whittle you a skateboard? You, whoever you is. We learn how to skateboard together. Let's learn how to skateboard together. I'm not sure exactly how to round this part off best. I suppose it's by going down like this. But I'm still not quite a master at this move yet. There you are. There's the chess piece. Very nice. Very good. Well, that actually turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to. Obviously it's not, obviously it's not perfect. Perfect. Turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to, and it may well have taught me the patience that I'm going to need to finish off this cat. So that's good at least. Pat on the back. Alright, very nice.